In the year 1198, within the intellectual heart of Córdoba, two of the most influential minds of the Islamic Golden Age met: Ibn Arabi, the young mystic and visionary at the age of 35, and Averroes, the seasoned philosopher and interpreter of Aristotle, then 72 years old. Though this meeting is often recounted as a historical event, it is in truth a symbolic encounter, a powerful representation of the eternal dialogue between reason and mysticism, philosophy and spirituality. In this imagined dialogue, as interpreted by Henry Corbin in his book Creative Imagination in the Sufism of Ibn Arabi and Averroes delve into three fundamental topics that still resonate today. They discuss the nature of divine knowledge. Can God's essence be grasped through reason, or does it require mystical experience? They explore the limits of human intellect. Is rational philosophy sufficient, or must it be transcended by spiritual insight? And they ponder the concept of imagination. Is it merely a mental faculty, or a profound bridge to higher spiritual truths? Join us as we explore Corbin's profound insights into this symbolic meeting and uncover the deeper meanings behind this legendary dialogue.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, esteemed Ibn Rushd. It is truly an honor to be in the presence of a mind as renowned as yours. Your interpretations of Aristotle have illuminated the path of reason for scholars far beyond the walls of Córdoba. I have always admired your unwavering commitment to understanding the universe through the lens of intellect and philosophy.
Wa alaikum salam, young Ibn Arabi. The honor is mutual. I have heard much about your spiritual insights, and the unique mystical path you tread, one that ventures beyond the confines of ordinary reason. It is said that your knowledge springs from direct experience, an unveiling of truths that few have ever witnessed. Such an approach to understanding is both intriguing and rare, and I am eager to learn more about it.
Perhaps our meeting today is not a mere coincidence, but a convergence ordained by divine will, a meeting of minds that bridges the paths of reason and mysticism. Together, we may explore these different dimensions of understanding and uncover deeper truths that lie hidden beneath the surface of our respective traditions.
Indeed, let us explore these matters. I am particularly interested in your views on the nature of divine knowledge. As a philosopher, I have always believed that such knowledge can be attained through disciplined reasoning and intellectual effort. But I'm curious, does your mystical approach suggest otherwise? How do you perceive the path to divine understanding? To me, divine knowledge is the ultimate goal of human inquiry, the highest form of understanding that we can achieve. It is accessible to us through reason and intellect. I'm convinced that the faculties of the human mind, when properly disciplined and refined, can ascend to grasp the divine order. This conviction has driven my lifelong devotion to philosophy and the study of Aristotle. Through logic, reason, and systematic inquiry, we can uncover the principles that govern the cosmos, and, in doing so, come closer to the essence of the Creator. But tell me, Ibn Arabi, what is your view on this?
Your dedication to reason is indeed admirable, honored Master Ibn Rushd, and I fully appreciate your perspective. However, I hold that the essence of God, the ultimate reality, transcends human comprehension and lies beyond the reach of reason alone. The intellect is a noble tool, yes, but it operates through division, categorization, and analysis. Divine reality, however, is one, an indivisible, infinite presence that cannot be fully grasped by a mind constrained by duality. To truly know God, one must move beyond reason to a form of knowledge that is direct and experiential, what we call mystical unveiling, or kashf. This is not a matter of mere speculation, but a knowing that arises when the heart is illuminated, the ego is quieted, and the soul is in perfect harmony with the divine.
Mystical unveiling, you say? But does this not lead to the danger of subjectivity, of losing oneself in mere imaginings or illusions? The intellect provides a stable foundation, a clear path rooted in logic and reason. How does one guard against self-deception in the realm of mystical experience? How can we be certain that what is perceived is truth, and not merely the product of a fervent imagination or emotional ecstasy?
These are valid concerns, esteemed master, and I understand your caution. The intellect indeed offers clarity and discernment, and it has its rightful place. Yet the knowledge I speak of is not subject to the whims of imagination or emotion. True mystical knowledge or gnosis is verified by its fruits, a deep and abiding peace, a profound love for all creation, a unity with the divine will that transforms the very core of one's being. It is a knowledge born of direct experience, not mere conceptualization. It is a certainty that is felt with the entirety of one's soul, beyond the limitations of logic. While reason provides a map, mystical knowledge is like walking the path itself, feeling the terrain underfoot, and knowing it in a way that no map could ever convey.
You speak of a form of knowledge that appears almost intuitive, a direct apprehension of the divine that bypasses the usual channels of thought. Perhaps there is merit in this. It seems that there may indeed be different ways to approach the divine, and perhaps both are necessary, the rigor of reason and the depth of mystical insight. Could it be that both paths ultimately lead to the same truth, each complementing the other?
Indeed, esteemed Ibn Rushd, both paths, reason and mysticism, are threads in the same tapestry of divine truth. Each has its place, and each can guide the seeker towards a deeper understanding. The key is to recognize the limitations of each and to remain open to the fullness of the divine mystery, which is beyond all human comprehension, yet within the grasp of every sincere seeker.
You speak of the limits of reason, Ibn Arabi, yet I wonder if we have fully understood what those limits are. The intellect, after all, is what distinguishes humanity from the rest of creation. It is through reason that we can ascend from mere existence to understanding the world around us, to comprehend the laws that govern it, and to seek out the divine. Surely, if there are limits to human understanding, they are only because we have not yet fully realized the potential of the intellect.
Esteemed Averroes, I do not deny the power and importance of the intellect. Indeed, it is a magnificent gift, allowing us to discern, reason, and reflect upon the wonders of creation. Yet, I believe the intellect operates within the domain of duality. It categorizes, analyzes, and separates in order to understand. There are realms of existence and levels of truth that lie beyond the capacity of the intellect to comprehend. The intellect, powerful as it is, cannot grasp the infinite. It can guide us to the threshold, but it cannot take us through the door to the divine mysteries that lie beyond.
You speak of realms beyond intellect, but is this not where superstition and ignorance find their foothold? If we abandon the intellect, do we not risk falling into darkness, guided only by personal whims and subjective feelings? The intellect provides a shared framework, a common ground upon which all can agree. It is the anchor that keeps us from drifting into the seas of uncertainty and illusion.
Your caution is wise, revered teacher. The intellect is indeed a safeguard, a means to navigate the material world and the realm of human affairs, but the truths of which I speak are not born of whim or subjective fancy. They are revelations of a higher order, accessible through the purification of the heart and the discipline of the soul. When the heart becomes polished, like a mirror, It reflects the divine light. This light reveals truths that are inaccessible to the intellect, truths that are direct and certain, without the need for logical deduction.
But how do we, as seekers of truth, know when we have truly encountered this divine light? How do we differentiate between genuine spiritual insight and the illusions born of our desires or misunderstandings? Reason, with its clarity, provides a method for distinguishing truth from falsehood. How do you propose we safeguard against the dangers of self-deception in the mystical path?
The key, Venerable Master, lies in the purification of the self. One must strive to transcend the ego, the lower self that clings to desires and fears. In the state of pure surrender to the divine will, in the annihilation of the self in the presence of the divine, what we call fana, true knowledge arises. This is not knowledge that can be written in books or taught in schools. It is a living knowledge, a direct and immediate awareness of the divine reality. It is confirmed not by argument or debate, but by the transformation it brings to the soul, the peace it bestows upon the heart, and the love it ignites for all creation.
I see, then, that what you propose is a different kind of journey, one that moves inward rather than outward, seeking not to analyze the divine, but to become united with it. Yet I still hold that the intellect must play a role, even in this journey. Perhaps, then, the intellect and the heart are not rivals, but allies, each supporting the other in the quest for truth. Reason can guide us to the edge of the divine mystery, and the purified heart can lead us beyond it.
Indeed, you grasp my meaning well, honored Averroes. The intellect is a precious guide, a lamp in the darkness. But when the lamp reaches its limit, we must be willing to walk into the light beyond, guided by a deeper inner knowing. Together, reason and spiritual insight can lead us to a fuller understanding of the divine, a harmonious blend of both mind and soul in the pursuit of the one truth.
We have explored reason and the intellect, and now, Ibn Arabi, I am curious about your views on imagination. In philosophy, imagination is often regarded as a lower faculty, a source of illusion rather than truth. It is the power that produces images and forms that do not necessarily correspond to reality. Yet, I sense that, for you, imagination plays a different, perhaps even sacred role. How do you see it?
Honored Averroes, you are correct in observing that I hold imagination in a different regard. In my understanding, imagination is not merely a faculty of deception or idle fantasy. Rather, it is a profound, creative force that serves as a bridge between the sensory world and the spiritual realm. Through what I call the active imagination, one can perceive a higher reality, a reality that is not bound by the physical world, but is just as real, if not more so. The world of imagination is where spiritual truths manifest in symbolic form. It is here that divine realities are unveiled in a manner accessible to the human soul.
A world beyond the sensory, yet accessible through imagination. It sounds as though you are suggesting that imagination can perceive what lies beyond reason and sense perception. But how do we trust these images? How do we differentiate between true visions that convey divine truth and mere imaginings born of our subconscious desires or fears?
A wise question, esteemed teacher. The active imagination I speak of is not a product of uncontrolled fancy. It is an organ of perception. Just as the eyes perceive the physical world, so does the heart, through imagination, perceive the spiritual world. This is not the imagination of idle dreams, but a disciplined, spiritually attuned imagination that is purified and aligned with divine will. When one is on the path of spiritual purification, the heart becomes a clear mirror reflecting divine truths. The images seen in this mirror are not illusions, but theophanies, manifestations of the divine. They provide a way to understand spiritual truths in a form that the soul can grasp and contemplate.
This is a fascinating perspective, Ibn Arabi. It seems you are proposing that imagination, when properly cultivated, becomes a tool not of deception, but of higher perception. In this sense, it would serve as a complement to reason, not its opposite. Yet I must ask, how does one cultivate such an imagination? What practices or disciplines are necessary to ensure that this faculty remains aligned with truth and does not lead one astray?
You touch upon the heart of the matter, revered master. The cultivation of this active imagination requires a rigorous inner discipline. It involves the purification of the heart, a commitment to the remembrance of God, dhikr, and a continuous effort to detach from worldly desires and egoistic inclinations. It is a path of surrender and humility, where one seeks to align their will with the divine will. As the heart becomes purified, it becomes capable of receiving true visions and insights. The more one advances on this path, the clearer and more truthful the imaginative visions become. These visions are not arbitrary, but are deeply aligned with divine wisdom, guiding the seeker closer to the ultimate truth.
I see now that your conception of imagination is far more profound than I had understood. It is not a mere fantasy, but a spiritual faculty that, when properly disciplined, can reveal truths beyond the scope of reason and the senses. Perhaps in this we find yet another complementarity, reason to understand the physical world, and imagination to glimpse the divine mysteries. Both faculties, when united, offer a fuller path to wisdom.
Reason and imagination, intellect and spirit, all are gifts from the divine, meant to lead us closer to the one truth. When we use them in harmony, we begin to see the unity in all things, the hidden reality that binds the seen and unseen. It is this unity, this divine harmony, that both the philosopher and the mystic seek, each in their own way, yet ultimately toward the same goal.
In this final exchange, Averroes and Ibn Arabi find common ground in their understanding of the role of imagination. Henry Corbin, in his groundbreaking work, offers a profound interpretation of the symbolic dialogue between Ibn Arabi and Averroes. In 1198, Averroes passed away at the age of 72. Ibn Arabi, who was 35 years old at the time, attended the funeral when Averroes's body was returned to Cordoba. Standing among the mourners, Ibn Arabi reflected with deep respect and quiet sadness on the life and legacy of the great philosopher. His presence at the funeral was a testament to the respect and honor he held for a fellow seeker of truth, even as their paths diverged. Thank you for joining us on this journey at Attic Books. Until next time, may your search for knowledge be ever inspired.